Oh, hey. Did not see you there. I was just playing with my VR. What is a VR? Well, that is a good question. Virtual reality is a technology that enables you to transform into anybody, do anything, and go to any location you can imagine. It's a kind of digital technology that enables you to enter a piece of material, play a video game, or participate in a film. Virtual reality is sometimes lumped together with augmented reality, or AR, and 360 cameras. Those are a little different, but we're going to stick with virtual reality today. A decent VR experience requires the presence of three crucial elements. The hardware is required. You'll need trackability, which we'll discuss in a moment, as well as interaction. The hardware is rather simple to understand. A virtual reality headset is required. The majority of virtual reality headsets include two lenses and a digital screen on the inside. Trackability is the second element. To be fully immersed in a VR experience, you must be able to move about, which is what distinguishes it from a video game or a film. Interactivity is the third component. So let's get started. You can accomplish things within a VR experience by using controls or even your hands in some more advanced systems. That interaction is crucial in creating a feeling of presence and immersion inside a VR experience. But that was not always the case. VRs in their very beginning were kind of weird. Today's virtual reality technologies build upon ideas that date back to the 1800s, almost to the very beginning of practical photography. In 1838, the first stereoscope was invented, using twin mirrors to project a single image. That eventually developed into the ViewMaster, patented in 1939 and still produced today. The use of the term virtual reality, however, was first used in the mid-1980s when Jaron Lanier, founder of VPL Research, began to develop the gear, including goggles and gloves, needed to experience what he called virtual reality. Today's current virtual reality gear owes a debt of gratitude to the pioneering inventors of the past 6 decades who paved the way for the low-cost, high-quality devices which are easily accessible. 1838 Stereoscope. It was invented by Sir Charles Wheatstone. It consisted of a pair of mirrors set in the middle of two wooden boards at 45 angles to the viewer's eyes. In the early 19th century, due to optical discoveries, David Brewster upgraded or modified the stereoscope. He made it more compact and from normal drawing to O-type photographs. That made it very popular and easy to offer by most of the people, and a lot of companies made some for kids, and from that point, stereoscope become not only for entertainment but they were also served as a method of education. In 1939 the discovery of coax colored the 35mm film, and this was when William Gerber formed the ViewMaster Company and they started with 7 photos of tourist attraction, and later in 1960 the ViewMaster became a children's toy. Sensorama 1956. The first VR machine was created by Morton Heiling. It had multiple sensors to stimulate all the human senses and a full-color video, audio, vibration, smell, and wind. It was made for cinema and 6 short films were made for it. Then in 1961, the first headsight was accreted by Camo and Bryan for the military. It was not used for VR, however, it was the first motion tracking HMD. It was connected to a camera and this camera imitated the head movements so the user could look around the setting. The first flight simulator for the Air Force was created by Thomas Furness in 1966, and this helped a lot in producing a better VR because the military was funding the project. In 1968 Sutherland, with his student, Bob Spruill, created the Sword of Damocles, and it is considered the first VR HMD, and it was connected to a computer, not a camera. This computer created 3D models that you can see and move by moving your head. In 1975 at the Milwaukee Art Center, they had the first interactive VR platform. It used computer graphics, projectors, video cameras, video displays and position sensing technology. In 1982, Sayer Gloves, Sandin and DeFanti created the first wired gloves. They monitored hand movements by using light emitters and photo cells in the glove's fingers. So when the user moved their fingers, the amount of light hitting the photocell varied, which then converted the finger movements into electrical signals. In 1985, Jaron Lanier and Thomas Zimmerman founded VPL Research, Inc. This company is known as the first company to sell VR goggles and gloves. They developed a range of VR equipment, such as the Data Glove, iPhone HMD and the Audio Sphere. In 1990, Jonathan Waldron exhibited Virtuality, a VR arcade machine, at the Computer Graphics 90 exhibition in London. 1991, a NASA scientist named Antonio Medina devised a virtual reality system to control the Mars robot rovers from Earth in supposedly real time, despite signal delays between the planets. Also, Sega announced that they were working on a VR headset that will be accessible for purchase by the general public. This headset was designed to be used with the Mega Drive console and arcade games. Due to the influence of popular films such as RoboCop, it featured a visor-like appearance. LCD monitors, stereo headphones, and sensors for tracking head movement were all installed in the visor. Sega's fear of individuals harming themselves due to the VR effect's reality was one of the reasons for the cancellation. Due to the limited processing power, this seemed doubtful. 1994 Sega VR1 is a motion simulator arcade system released by Sega. CyberMax is a virtual reality headset created by Victor Max. 1995, Nintendo released the Virtual Boy, a system that allowed users to play 3D monochrome video games. It was the first portable console to feature three-dimensional graphics. However, it was a commercial failure because of a lack of color graphics, software support, and a lack of user comfort. It was taken out after a year. Affordably cost VR headsets for home use have been released. The eyeglasses were released by Virtual.io. And Forte manufactured the VFX-1 headgear. 1997, researchers from Georgia Tech and Emory University employed virtual reality to create battle zone scenes for soldiers receiving PTSD exposure therapy. This was called Virtual Vietnam. 2001, SAS Cube was the first cubic space to be powered by a computer. It resulted in the creation of the Virtuals VR Pack. 2007, Street View was created by Google. Immersive Media was named as the contractor who used their unique dodecahedral camera array on a moving car to acquire footage for 4 of the 5 cities initially mapped by Street View. 2010. For Street View, Google added a stereoscopic 3D mode. Palmer Luckey, an 18-year-old entrepreneur, designed the Oculus Rift's initial prototype. It possessed a never-before-seen 90-degree field of vision and relied on the processing capacity of a computer to transmit the images. This new invention has reignited and rekindled interest in virtual reality. 2012, Luckey received $2.4 million for the Oculus Rift through a Kickstarter campaign. 2014, the Oculus VR company was bought by Facebook for $2 billion. This was a watershed point in the history of virtual reality since it sped up after that. Project Morpheus, a virtual reality headgear for the PlayStation 4, was announced by Sony, PS4. Cardboard is a low-cost, do-it-yourself stereoscopic viewer for cell phones that was released by Google. The Samsung Gear VR is a virtual reality device that employs a Samsung Galaxy smartphone as a viewer. 2015, VR possibilities started becoming widely available to the general public. For example, the Wall Street Journal launched a VR roller coaster that followed the ups and downs of the Nasdaq stock market. The BBC created a 360-degree video where users view a Syrian migrant camp. The Washington Post released a VR experience of the Oval Office at the White House Correspondents' Association dinner. RYOT, a media company, exhibited Confinement, a short VR film about solitary confinement in U.S. prisons. GloveOne was successful in its Kickstarter campaign. These gloves let users feel and interact with virtual objects. 2016, hundreds of companies were developing virtual reality devices by 2016. The majority of the headsets were equipped with dynamic binaural audio. Haptic interfaces were still in their development. Haptic interfaces, such as the GloveOne gloves that were being developed, allow humans to connect with a computer using their touch and movements. As a result, most cell phones were activated by pressing a button. HTC released its HTC Vive Steam VR headset. This was the first commercial release of a headset with sensor-based tracking which allowed users to move freely in space. HTC Vive released in 2016. 2017, HTC, Google, Apple, Amazon, and Microsoft are among the companies working on their own VR headsets. Sony, Samsung, and other manufacturers are among them. For the PlayStation 4, Sony could be working on a location tracking system similar to HTC's Vive. 2018, Oculus presented the Half Dome, a new headset prototype, at Facebook F8. This is a varifocal headset with a field of vision of 140 degrees. Virtual reality has advanced tremendously, and it is now being utilized for several purposes, including immersive gaming, treating psychological problems, teaching new skills, and even taking terminally sick people on virtual travels. Virtual reality offers a wide range of applications, and with the advancement of smartphone technology, it will become much more accessible. 2019, this is the year virtual reality becomes real, according to Forbes. Facebook's standalone headgear, Oculus Quest, sparked a lot of interest and momentum, selling out in a lot of places and generating $5 million in content sales. Because independent VR headsets are far easier to use for the typical user, the change from tethered to standalone VR headsets signaled a shift within the immersive ecosystem. For the first time, according to Road to VR, the number of monthly connected VR headsets on Steam has topped 1 million. On April 12, Nintendo joined the virtual reality industry with the Labo VR kit for Nintendo Switch. Beat Saber became the first app to sell over 1 million copies in less than a year. In March 2020, the Oculus Quest 2 was released in 2020 by Oculus. A sharper screen, a lower price, and improved performance are among the new features. To utilize the new headset, users must first join in with their Facebook account. Today, the revolution of VR has come so far from the original versions of VR and their implementations are in our day-to-day life. Nowadays, driving training and pilot training as well as many others have been providing through VR, which is making these types of training less expensive. The usage of VR in online shopping is considered one of the revolutionary points of the 21st century. The usage of VR in technology and industry is making the respective sectors getting boomed at a higher rate than ever before. Experts believe the future of VR is very bright and it will boom further as online shopping is getting popular among people. Each party believes drastic changes will occur in online shopping by the usage of VR, which will be able to make it possible for people to virtually feel a product and compare from home. Simulation, pilot programs and another driving military, defense system and mapping, the navigation system will be improved massively by the usage of VR as well. Not to mention the extreme development in video games and the level of reality that it will become. Who knows what the future holds? Now if you will excuse me, I have a difficult villain to beat. Today's virtual reality technologies build upon ideas that date back to the 1800s, almost to the very beginning of practical photography. In 1838, the first stereoscope was invented, using twin mirrors to project a single image. That eventually developed into the ViewMaster, patented in 1939 and still produced today. Use of the term virtual reality, however, was first used in the mid-1980s when Jaron Lanier, founder of VPL Research, began to develop the gear, including goggles and gloves, needed to experience what he called virtual reality. Today's current virtual reality gear owes a debt of gratitude to the pioneering inventors of the past 6 decades who paved the way for the low-cost, high-quality devices which are easily accessible.